Ahead of the 2023 Women's World Cup taking place in Australia and New Zealand next year, you have the Super Falcons engaging in several friendly matches as tune-up events to the World Cup itself. And part of that preparations meant they played their Japanese counterparts about 4 hours ago, 8:30 Nigerian time. Yes, and it was not a good outing for the Super Falcons as they were outplayed and outclassed by their Japanese counterparts. The match ended by 2-0 in favor of Japan right there in Kobe. I'm talking about the Japanese city. I had the goal scorer Mina Tanaka scoring a brace in the match. She scored the first goal in the 64th minute and within the space of 4 minutes added a second from the spot to make it 2-0 in favor of Japan. For the Super Falcons, it was a relatively strong squad, it must be said. You had Una Dozie as the goalkeeper, you had Ohale, Ogbonna, Plumtree, as well as Alozie all in the defense line. And when you talk about the midfield, Okobi was in there, you had Uchebe in there, Biodun, Ajibade, up front, skipper, captain in the side, as Asisa Oshala was missing in action, but you had Kanu, Onumono in the mix as well, among others. So as I said earlier, it was a relatively strong, side from Randy Waldrum's side, but they couldn't just get the better of their Japanese counterparts. And for the Super Falcons of Nigeria, the loss makes it a 5th one in succession. So it's definitely a worrisome streak that the Super Falcons have lost their 5 matches in all competitions, and that's not looking too good at this point in time. There are also questions regarding the capacity, the competence of Randy Waldrum to lead the side going into the World Cup. Remember, we couldn't make a successful defense of our title at the African Women's Cup of Nations in Morocco, with South Africa emerging champions of that tournament way back as a July. And this time around, going into the World Cup, we need more hands. You have Nigerians reacting over Twitter, calling, for the new MFF president, Alhaji Ibrahim Gusso, to make the changes in terms of sacking Randy Waldrum and electing someone else, or appointing someone else rather, who can lead the Super Falcons, to the glory days once again. For the Super Falcons, it's not looking too good because you want to win tune-up events like this, or at least compete favorably. But what we saw at the wee hours of today was more of a defensive, play. The Super Falcons just couldn't hold their own against their Japanese counterparts, and that was obvious over the course of 90 minutes. It was a well-deserved, win for Japan, and I'm sure valuable lessons will be learned by the Super Falcons going forward. Hopefully, they're able to make it count. As I said, it is a good tune-up event going into the World ahead of the World Cup rather, because the Japanese are ranked 11th in women's ranking. When it comes to women's football, they are ranked 11th in the world. So we oftentimes football fans call for formidable opponents when it comes to friendly matches, and we had one just like that, talking about the match against Japan. Well, let's move now and turn our attention, still talking about the home front, but it's about the under-17 women's national team known as the Flamingos. Yes, that's Nigeria's under-17 team. They've departed Turkey this morning and they are en route to India, where they will be taking on the world when it comes to the Indians, the FIFA's under-17 Women's World Cup, and that's is a tournament that we should expect the very best from our Flamingos. Right there in Turkey, where they based in terms of training camp. They played 2 friendly matches over the course of 10 days, and they won convincingly against Galatasaray by 3-1, and also lost by 3-1 to Fenerbahce. I'm talking about Turkish football clubs over there where they trained or where they based here. So over the 10 days, I'm sure Coach Oluwo Kere and Bankole, yes, Coach Oluwo Kere Bankole would have seen the needed adjustments he needs to make ahead of the World Cup itself. Remember, the World Cup begins on the 11th of October right there in India, and the you want to call them Super Flamingos, that's all right. The Flamingos would have their first match also on that day, October 11th. They will be taking on their German counterparts. They've been drawn to Group B, as you've seen on your screen. They've been drawn to Group B, where they will take on Germany, Chile, as well as New Zealand. I'm talking about the draws for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. And the first match for the Flamingos will be on the 11th of October against Germany. which is a Wednesday, next week Wednesday precisely, and you have their next match on the 14th, which is a Friday, and that will be against New Zealand, while their final group stage match will be against Chile on the 17th of October, which is a Monday. So they have about 3 matches to play within the space of 5 days. Let's see how the Flamingos are able to represent us in good light. It must be said that there are certain players we should watch out for. You have Okpeyemi Ajakaye. That's one of the key players we can watch out from this side. Etim Edidiong, definitely a goal poacher. She's one we should watch out for as well. Scored 3 of the 4 goals the Flamingos scored in Turkey. Remember I said they played 2 friendly matches against Galatasaray as well as Fenerbahce, and they scored 4 goals and also considered 4 goals. And from those 4 goals scored, you had Etim Edidiong scoring 3 of them. So it shows you that she's the woman to go to when it comes to getting goals for this side. Let's not forget the captain of the side as well, Dazosu Alvin, who is also a key player of Coach Olowokere Bankole's side. These are the players that should be making us proud and more. It's a team effort, no doubt about it, but certain players tend to stand out, and these aforementioned players just standing out right about now for the Flamingos. It will be intriguing to see how they fare, especially in their first match against Germany. That seems to be the most difficult of matches for them. If they can scale through, then they will fancy their chances, of progressing past that group, especially if they start with a convincing win. Chelsea Football Club earning an impressive 3-0 win over AC Milan, and the biggest star of the night had to be Reece James, who duly got his Player of the Match award, courtesy of a fine performance where he registered an assist as well as got a goal for himself. The match started a bit cagey, but it was a well-deserved win for Chelsea Football Club as they outplayed, outclassed, outmuzzled AC Milan virtually all through the way, and they were relatively in control all through until the very last second of the first half, where Kepa Arrizabalaga spilled a team effort from Rafael Leao, and you had Krunic with a goal at his mercy, spurring that chance to equalize for AC Milan right there in front of the 6-yard box. Besides that, it was a dominant performance for Chelsea Football Club, and they were largely untroubled, to say the very least. You had Chelsea Football Club going ahead with Fofana, yes, the £70 million defender signing from Leicester City, opening his goal scoring account for Chelsea Football Club. Got the goal early on as AC Milan couldn't clear off their lines from a corner kick, with Thiago Silva proving to be a menace when it comes to corner kicks for Chelsea Football Club, as AC Milan failed to deal with that. You also had Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang scoring again for Chelsea Football Club, talking about getting into his groove. Yes, there have been so many mythical allusions to that jersey number 9 for Chelsea Football Club, but Aubameyang seems to be casting doubts regarding those myths, and let's see how that fares. But he has started well despite wearing the supposedly cost number 9 jersey of Chelsea Football Club. You had Reece James banging in the 3rd goal, as I said earlier, and it was a remarkable performance from Chelsea Football Club. The win was their first in this season's UEFA Champions League, and it means that they are now second in the group, as they have now moved ahead of AC Milan on goal difference. Talking about Group E, you still have Salzburg leading with 5 points. Chelsea Football Club now have 4 points from 3 games. AC Milan as well have 4 points from 3 games, but sit third due to an inferior goal difference, while you have Dynamo Zagreb with 3 points. It's definitely a keenly contested group, because Dynamo Zagreb won the other match of the group by a lone goal against Salzburg. So it's all to play for, especially in the reverse fixture where AC Milan will be at home and you would have Chelsea visiting. The good thing we saw yesterday was Chelsea football fans appreciating the likes of Tomori and Olivier Giroud by applauding them. Oftentimes you see fans, boo, but this time around they were able to applaud these men for their services to the club in time past. Well, let's move away from there and talk about Real Madrid. Real Madrid are also in action at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium, and it was a 2-1 win, a slim victory for Real Madrid over Shakhtar Donetsk, and this time around it was Rodrigo who opened the scoring for Real Madrid before Vinicius Jr. added his second, and Shakhtar Donetsk threatened to equalize, but Real Madrid held them at bay. You had Karim Benzema also getting a look in, having chances, but he couldn't convert. Had one of his signature shots just flash about 2-3 inches wide of the goalpost. Besides that, it was a relatively comfortable victory for Real Madrid. Shakhtar Donetsk had just few moments and they couldn't convert. Remember, the name of the game is converting chances and putting the ball at the back of the net. It's all about scoring your opponent, and that's what Real Madrid did on the night. For Real Madrid Football Club, it's 3 wins from 3 games, and that puts them firmly in position of qualifying from that group, as they have 9 points from a possible 9, talking about Group F. Shakhtar Donetsk, despite the loss, still sits second with 4 points from 3 games. I have RB Leipzig of Germany with 3 points from 3 games, having lost their first 2 matches. They were able to defeat Celtic Football Club by 3-1 right there in Germany. So it's Leipzig who is sitting third, talking about our Europa League spot, and Celtic Football Club of Scottish football at bottom of the group with a solitary point, and they'll be hoping to make it count. But it's Leipzig who fancy their chances of also winning the reverse fixture sometime next week, so as to be able to push for the next stage of UEFA Champions League football. Real Madrid firmly in control of that. Another match we had yesterday was PSG against Benfica, and this match took place in Portugal. You had PSG getting the lead courtesy of that brilliant caller from Lionel Messi. Another neat exchange of pass between Messi and Neymar, showing the brilliant chemistry they've had right from their Barcelona days, which won them several trophies. Once again on display with Neymar combining well with Messi, for Messi to call in that brilliant opener. Unfortunately for them, Danilo scored an own goal to ensure that Benfica forced the stalemate, and as a result of the 1-1 draw, or result as it were, both teams now have 7 points from 3 games, but it's PSG who are top of Group H with the goal difference now. So it's PSG 7 points from 3 games, Benfica as well 7 points from 3 games. You have Juventus on 3 points from 3 games, while Maccabi Haifa having 0 points. They are the whipping boys of Group H. Talking about Juventus, which is the other fixture, you had Juventus winning by 3-1 against Maccabi Haifa. It was Adrian Rabiot who scored a brace in there to guide them through for their first win of the season, just to relieve some pressure off coach Maximiliano Allegri. So